We are here today in a live session with Mr. Pallab Bose and Ms. Siddhi Mapenkar.
All right, Siddhi, beginning our conversation, I'm sure our audience would love to know about something about your background. I mean, by the way, you're looking lovely today.
Thank
what
you.
With your the wonderful pink dress and your lovely hair. Wonderful. Nice to see somebody cheerful and so colorful and nice. Where is Siddhi based, by the way?
I'm from Mumbai.
So what has been your background, Siddhi? I mean, before you came into fashion design?
So before I came into fashion design, I hail from Goa, and I studied computer engineering, and then I got into fashion. I went to NIFT, Mumbai. After that, I worked with a designer for 3 years. I worked with Mr. Arjun Khanna, who is a renowned menswear designer in the country. And in 2009, along with my sister Siddhi, we started our own label, Mapenkar. And since then, we have been participating in a lot of fashion weeks. In 2010, we were the Gen Xters at Lakme Fashion Week. After that, we have been, doing lines after lines. Business has been good, so far so good. And yes, teaching is something I'm passionate about. So I'm always in touch with students community. I'm teaching part-time for last 10 years at NIFT Mumbai, and now I also collaborate with other colleges across the country. So I've taught about 15,000 students for last 10 years now.
Well, 10 years is a very long time. I mean, I don't want to ask your age, but you don't look more than 25 to me.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right. Siddhi, one very interesting observation that I got from your feedback about your background. Computer science to design. Does it really matter what kind of background you come from into design?
For me, it was, I was just going with the flow. In 2001, that was the norm. You either do medicine or engineering. And I was getting both. So I thought, I definitely don't want to be a doctor. So let's be an engineer.
Why design? I mean, from an engineering background, why design, Siddhi?
You won't believe this. My first dream was to become a car designer. From car designer, I was like, oh my God, I think I'll become an architect. And then I ended up in engineering, and then I became a designer, because clothing is something I knew I would have enjoyed doing. But 20 years back, it was only NIFT and maybe NID, and the profession was not taken as seriously. The industry wasn't corporatized as much as it is today. So parents didn't know what are the opportunities. So I think now times have changed. It's much easier for parents to kind of understand, where we are heading. So, in Goa, we have tailors. We don't have dressmakers or designers, at that time. So this whole concept was so naive, and people would not even understand what's the meaning of fashion designing as much. So, and I hail from a business family. So my father was supportive. He said a very nice thing. You do the basic degree in life, maybe, and then I would let you go to Bombay.
Right.
So I always say, my engineering degree is like my ticket to Bombay. So here I was.
Yeah. So you got to obviously balance your family as well. You cannot go completely against them. But what I understand is very clearly from you is that there has been an initial flair for clothes, for styling, and for the performing arts that got you to design.
Yes.
So that means obviously that, one has to listen to the heart sometimes, balance relationships within the family, and whatever background you come from, that doesn't matter. You can come into fashion design. And let me share with you, Siddhi, welcome to INIFD Kothru's wonderful universe. Over the past 2 decades, because I have been involved with INIFD for a very long time, and INIFD Kothru Pune for the past 1.5 decades have provided a wonderful platform, a very serious platform for students coming in, not only from big cities and metros, which used to be the trend earlier, as you pointed out. I remember the late 90s and the early 2000s, but the 1.5 decades has changed all that. That even from small towns, from smaller places, students who come in have got this wonderful opportunity. Wonderful. What do you think, Siddhi, so far your journey, What has been the best part of being a designer? I mean, what has excited you?
People buy fashion because it makes them happy, and I think because I make clothes, in some way I become the reason for their happiness. I like that bit, that I'm contributing to their wedding day or anniversary or their most important meeting. So I'm a part of their happy days. I like to believe that.
What inspires you?
I think, I draw my inspiration from different things. Rarely from clothes, honestly. It's from art, painters,
There you are.
my travels, the books I read. You have to, I always tell my students, you have to be a wholesome person. You should have different facets to your personality. Do not define yourself as a fashion designer, because then you are limiting yourself. Everybody has, I think, multiple talents. Most of my students, they're either good painters, they're good writers, they are good at dancing, they are good at singing. So you have to explore those other areas also, because if you give so much importance to one facet of your life, you might lose your other beautiful areas of life. So I think one has to be a well-rounded, well-read, well-traveled person, because I think the information you put in your system will result in the kind of output you will make in future.
Last parting mantra from you. I mean, what are those few lines that people would remember this interview for a very long time?
Just infuse passion in everything you do. I do that. If I'm cooking, baking, painting, dancing, whatever I do, my business, my teaching, my mentoring, when I'm listening to people, when I'm holding conversation, I'm 100% there, because there is passion in it. I think you got to be passionate. Passion is undercurrent of all good things in life.